fraternities, banks, and the insurance companies of getting together and having a meal and a time of fellowship together. A great many folk criticize church banquets, and I have too. That is J. Vernon McGee and not me. He has a problem with banquets. I don't. I think we should all the time. There is a problem people have with that because lots of times people come and eat, and that's all that they're there for. They're not there for the right reason, and so that's they might as well stay home. They're sinning when if they came for the food rather than for the meal. But really, I think that it's important that we feed people. The fellowship is very important to sit there with your brethren and get to know each other and it helps with the unity of the church and that sort of thing. There's all kinds of helps with it. I remember I was just thinking, that was one of the things that upset me with at Oak Hill. They sent their treasurer down to Mike down to Hearts Alive and observed it. We were feeding him after the service instead of before. And he said, well, there's just people coming to eat. And so they did away with Hearts Alive completely because that they thought that was, they disagreed with that. Well, Mike, I wonder about that. I'm trying to remember if he taught a Sunday school class. I'm wondering if he was against that kind of thing, as J. Vernon McGee says. But anyway, it did upset me. There was quite a few things there that upset me about um, their way of doing things. But they're going to be held accountable for it, not me. He did something new. Out of the ashes of the dead feasts, he erected a monument, not of marble, on down here. A great many folk criticize church banquets, and I do too, when they center only on the physical man. In the early church, they had these dinners for fellowship, and they were called an agape or love feast. This was a part of the fellowship of the church, the koinonia. In that day, the social gathering led right into the Lord's Supper. It was kept separate, but the agape wasn't preceded the Eucharist. Later on, these feasts were separated, and they are not practiced like that today. We do not have a love feast or dinner which precedes the Lord's Supper. That's what I like about Robin Lorry's. We go over to Robin Lorry's on Monday night and we have a meal together before that we have a Bible study. We by and large sit around and talk about what's going on and what we need to pray for. It's more of a prayer meeting than it is anything else, which is probably more needed than Bible study. But then we pray for each other, and so and then with Celebrate Recovery we do. I once cooked meals on Wednesday night. And for by and large, Oak Hill, they had a meal on Wednesday night, and it was a fundraiser for the women's group, I think, or something like that. And I don't know why they had a problem with that, but Wednesday night meals are a great idea for churches to have. At 6 o'clock because people are coming from work, and they can go straight to church, eat with their family, and fellowship with their friends at church and get to know people at church. That's the problem. We don't know the people at church. I don't know personally a lot of the people at church. I don't know any much about their lives. They just, it's like a very shallow, superficial relationships is all that you have at church. And that's not the way it should be. Because of the separation, we do not duplicate the bad situations that prevailed in the Corinth church. However, there are certain lessons here for us. And so that